Welcome to another episode of Spotlight Podcast. Today with us, Natalie Freeman, real estate agent from Nottinghamshire area. Natalie, welcome to Spotlight Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Janko.
Could you tell me, as an icebreaker question, a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, in terms of, do you want to know more about estate agency or what I do?
I would like to know what you have done before you started the real estate agency.
Okay. Can you guess at all?
I have no clue.
Okay, all right. Okay, so my background is very different to a estate agency. So I was a dance teacher.
Really?
So yes, so I studied dance. That's what I always wanted to be, a professional dance teacher, teaching dance. So that's what I did. So I went to university.
For how long?
Oh gosh, so I went to university, studied my dance degree, did all the qualifications after that. And then I was, for how long? For a few years. I'm trying to think, not sure how many. But yeah, that's what I did basically.
What was the university? Which one?
In Wolverhampton near Birmingham. So that's where I did my degree. And then I did my GTP, PGC, Cambridge and various other places. So yeah.
Nice.
Go into teaching rather than just a performance aspect of dancing, because it was a lot more competitive, although I still love to be on stage. So, yeah.
This is exactly, let's be quite honest, I saw one of your real estate promotion videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
And basically the way you do it, it's a very unique style. You're literally dancing while showing the real estate.
So basically it's a little bit crazy, but I try to put my own personality into it.
Exactly.
So I love music, I love dancing, I like to have fun when I do anything in terms of work. So I try to incorporate that element into showcasing properties, especially when it comes to Instagram, where you want to stop the scroll, you need to do something different.
So how is your fan base reacting so far?
Oh, people love it. They think it's crazy. You know, they like it. They want to see more of it. I have had trolls as well, like you do, especially when you get more exposure. But yeah, they really like it. But it's not for everyone. But most people really like doing that, you know, the fact that I do it, but they don't want to do it themselves because they're too shy.
Exactly. Like myself, I always want to try dancing, but I was always too shy to start. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. And you know, the ones that you did see on Instagram, when I put them on there, normally there's no music. So when you actually see me dancing, we do it in silence.
Really?
So it's complete chaos. It's like, which room do I go to? Natalie left. The cameraman goes, Natalie right, Natalie this. And then, but I'm just like thinking of a song in my head.
It's seamless. It seems that really the music that you guys incorporate afterwards, it seems like it was initially made for that.
I know, it's crazy. So I always try to think in my head, I have a tune in my head. So I'm like, whatever. And then I'm sort of trying to think of the moves. And then, because obviously I like sponsoring the adverts on Instagram, you can't just use copyright music. So I have to use a different track. Exactly. So then I make sure which beat goes better with the type of moves that I'm doing. Can I sponsor it? Brilliant. Here we go. And then that's how you have it.
So basically you are involved in the post-production as well?
Yes. So when it comes to the reels, to the Instagram reels, they give me the reels without music, and then I can further speed them up if I want, slow them down, and I use the music that I like, because I'm very particular with the beats that I like as well. So yeah.
Can you tell me this particular moment? In Spotlight Podcast, we talk a lot about the pivots in life.
Okay.
So it's a very unusual path that you've taken in your life from dancing school and dancing teacher. Now you're a real estate agent, a realtor. Can you tell me this exact moment when the pivot started for you?
Okay, it's a bit of a long story though.
Please, that's why we're here.
Okay, so I haven't mentioned that I'm from Greece or that I lived in Greece. No, I haven't said that. Okay, I can do that after. So a long story goes further back. But so for now, in terms of the pivoting moment, so basically, because of my dance background, that's what I always used to do. And I wanted to just retire being a dance teacher in a college or a school. And at the time, I had a car accident where actually I'm going a little bit further back now. So I had a car accident. Someone crashed into me at the roundabout. My car flipped. I didn't break a single thing, but I developed a condition called fibromyalgia, which affects your central nervous system. So you get pain in your back, your hip, your neck. It gets you tired.
Every once in a while, I guess.
It affects you. Some people have to be on really strong medication all the time. But when they told me that I had something like that, I didn't believe them. I thought there must be something wrong, because I was super fit. I was going to the gym every day, twice a day, dancing, and then I couldn't do things. So anyway, I thought to myself, I can't do the dancing anymore professionally to teach the students. So then I had to change what I did. And I thought, what can I do? I only know dancing and I know sales. So I wrote loads of ideas down and I thought to myself, what is good for the future in terms of career-wise? And what can I do? Because I couldn't just sit at a desk. I still just can't sit at a desk all day long because of my neck and so on. So I have to adapt what I'm doing. So then what I did do is I started delivering exercise sessions, sitting down for the old people in care homes in Nottingham with cheerleading pom-poms. And when I first told my husband and my friends and family, they were like, what? You're going to teach a 90-year-old to dance? And I was like, why not? So anyway, since then, it got quite popular, and I was one of the first people at the time, we're talking like 9-10 years ago, to create that craze. And I had so many care homes, not just from Nottingham, but all over the country, who wanted my sessions. And I thought, well, I can't be everywhere. So then I took on loads of other instructors and other dance teachers, and we were in all over the country, Manchester, London, Essex, everywhere. And we delivered those sessions.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, and I developed even seated yoga, seated ballet. It was so many different elements. And I really enjoyed making a difference to people's lives, doing that element.
Building the entire team, you were trying to develop these sessions in face-to-face manner.
Yes.
Have you ever thought of having maybe some kind of an online course?
I did actually.
Please tell me more.
I did. So basically, that's what we did. It became really, really popular. And also I wanted to make sure, because the care homes could only afford certain amount of sessions,
sure,
but the elderly needed a lot of exercise. So I thought, okay, if I create an online course where the care home staff can be trained to deliver that themselves, as well as having our sessions, so they've got other people, I could do that. So I did create the course, which was a lot more stressful, and it worked well. And we had care home staff who had to, pass, and then they had to get a certificate and so on, and they were delivering the sessions themselves as well. But what happened eventually is that COVID came.
Yeah.
And when COVID came, the people who got affected straight away and quicker were the care homes, were the old people. So I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what do I do? I still wanted to keep pushing that. But because of my condition, fibromyalgia, one of the main things that really affects it is stress. And obviously everyone was stressed when COVID happened. We didn't expect that would happen. So for me, I was getting really flared up, but I didn't want to stop. So I was thinking, what else can I do? Then I created another online platform where I also, for the elderly, where instead of having the instructors come into the care home to deliver those sessions, they could have an online platform where the care home staff provide the iPad for the elderly, and they can watch things from there, and also they can connect it to television. And I had singers, magicians, musicians, quizzes, everything really, really good for the elderly, for the music that they like, the old school, like It's a Long Way to Tipperary.
Wow.
And, it's stuff that they relate to, but it was fun. And that was really good, but it still was not... COVID was still getting in there, So eventually I had to stop that, because obviously it affected my condition more, and the care homes were still not being able to do that because they had to limit the interaction that they had. And then I just thought to myself, okay, I need to just let that go, because it wasn't, it was too much for my condition as well at the time, managing everything and, keep evolving ideas. Many businesses had stopped, but I was just, how can I evolve? And then I just said to all my instructors, here you go, guys. Here's all the care homes. This is obviously the price that we charge. Here's all this, all the music. Go. I didn't want to keep anything. I just wanted the elderly to continue having the sessions for dementia, and everything else, and the instructors to keep benefiting. So I sort of thought, leave that. And then, back to your question, 10 minutes later, I thought to myself, right, what am I going to do? Because I love, being creative. I love doing something different. I can't, having my own business, and before that, I can't just be employed. I like to do my own thing. And with my condition, I can control it. To be fair, now I can manage it so much better because I know how to live with it and I adapt things. But at the time, and in the past, I've always wanted to sell properties. However, because, one thing leads to another, I've never been able to actually do that. And my husband, he's a chartered building surveyor, and they also do construction and various different things. And we also used to do together, we still do, the odd development. So we build a property, then we sell it, or we do it up.
Sure.
So I'm talking a lot, aren't I?
Please. This is what podcast is all about.
Okay. So I basically, even though we had reputable estate agents who were meant to be really good, they didn't step up to the mark of how I would expect them to sell the properties. So then I would go in, even though it was with the agent, I would do all the viewings. I would tell the estate agent, guys, you need to do this, you need to do that, be a bit more enthusiastic, do this, do that. So I end up selling the houses via the estate agent. So that's just like a little background, a little bit. So I knew that I would be good at it, and I'm good at selling, love talking to people and so on. But anyway, so during the whole COVID period, I watched a lot of American TV, like we all did, and I love watching $1 Million Listings New York with Ryan Serhant, Selling Beverly Hills, loads of different programs, and there were also some UK programs with real estate. And I said to my husband, I can do that. Every time I was like, I could do that, and I always wanted to do it. And he's like, what, you're going to become an estate agent, but you've got no experience? I said, I don't care. I can definitely do it. I know I can. So then I sort of joined, I researched estate agents, but I only wanted to sell luxury homes. I didn't want to just sell, no offense to anything, I had a vision in my head. So I only wanted to sell properties that were of a certain value. And I got really excited about them. And then basically I researched some estate agencies. I looked up around Nottingham which estate agencies were selling properties over a certain value, and that I liked the way they did things. And there weren't many. And then I looked further across the Midlands, and I came across a couple of estate agents who also wanted me to work with them, to partner, not work for them, become a partner, like my own business. And then I came across The Avenue with Jack and James, who are the main founders. And we spoke, and I thought they're brilliant. I really liked the way that they were thinking, the way they are as people, customer service, everything. So I joined The Avenue, and that's where I started, basically.
Can you take me through this process of searching for the property? What do you do, actually? Okay. How you started?
So how do I get a property on my books to sell it? Do you mean?
How you start your initial search? Like, you had a vision in your head, basically what type of property you're looking for, and what do you do?
So when I became an estate agent? Yes. So basically, then I just thought to myself, okay, how am I going to get business? No one knows me. We don't have a high street presence, because the way that we do things at The Avenue, we are a more modern way of doing things, and over 95% of properties sell online, so you don't need the high street presence anymore. So I just thought, okay, what can I do? Right, I'm going to go and door knock. So basically, door knocking means that you go to people's houses, not necessarily people who are not on the market, but people who are already on the market with another estate agent, and I would look at their property online and think, okay, how long have they been on the market for? Oh gosh, is this, what can I help with? Gosh, so the pictures are shocking. They don't have this, whatever. I thought that I could help them, basically. I would only approach properties that I thought I could help them. So I would look them up for the system that we have, and then I would drive around. I still do that. I was doing that yesterday evening when I spoke to you.
When we spoke and arranged this podcast episode, you were actually door knocking.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I went, I approach these properties, and I have a word with the homeowners. Most of the time, they let me even in. They're really, really nice, even though I'm a stranger. But everyone is so, so nice and friendly. And then I will talk to them about what I think can be done with their property. I find out their journey so far, and then take it from there, basically, for the next step, then go and value the property properly, then discuss a strategy, what have they done before, what can be done differently to improve what they've done, and then we end up marketing it in the way that I market properties.
What you just described, it seems to me like a small due diligence for every single luxury property that you have in your portfolio. Basically, you do your analysis, you go meet with people in person. Can you tell me, for instance, how important it is to have a positive attitude in this business? The type of attitude where you really kind of knock on people's doors.
I know.
This first impression, for them seeing this stranger, just
appearing at their
doorstep. Yeah.
It's actually quite daunting. It's quite scary for many people. Not many agents knock on people's doors.
That's why they don't succeed, honestly. Let's be
not
be
many.
Fair.
They are. I know so many estate agents who just don't do it. They're too scared. They're too shy. They just don't do it. But for me, I get a buzz from it. I love to be able to go meet people. If they're not in, I'm absolutely gutted because I'm thinking all they're going to get off me is a letter, but they haven't met me. So when they meet me, you know, I'm not just a text on a piece of paper.
Exactly.
They can relate to me. So it is daunting at times, but for me, I just love it. You know, I see it as an opportunity to talk to them, even if, you know, they can't go with me because they're in a long-term contract, whatever. I want to be able to provide them with some value and help them think of different ways that perhaps their current estate agent isn't doing, so they can take that information, provide that to their current estate agent, especially if they can't move agents at the time, and see if they can help their position a bit better so that they can achieve a sale, hopefully, and for the maximum price. And when I do go to people's houses, 99% of people are absolutely lovely, but I have had the only one who was actually horrible to me, and you know, I've never experienced it.
Please,
it's a bit of a long. Do you want to hear the story?
Come on, when you see this lovely lady who's you know, stepping up, wants to help, and then there is a person who just don't get it.
So basically, I've never had anyone say to me, "Oh no, or go away," or whatever. So when I was actually during Christmas time, I had a few people who also approached me from Cheshire who wanted me to sell their houses, and Cheshire's got loads of luxury properties. So I was up there at times, as well as obviously mainly in Nottingham. And I just thought, as I'm here, I might as well door knock some other properties and see, you know. So I approached this £4 million or £4.5 million house, which looked amazing.
Wow.
Yes, it looked amazing. And it was really hard to find. And when I found it, I was like, I'm going to go knock on your door.
Usually these type of property are hidden in the woods.
Exactly. Yeah. It was very hidden. But I thought, that's where it is. I best go and knock on the door. Anyway, so it was Christmas time, and I knocked on their door at first, and I only spoke to them through the intercom. And they were in the car at the time, and they seemed very friendly, and they just said to me, just leave your letter. So I left my letter. And then when I was in Cheshire for a day the week after that, I thought, well, let me follow up. And I got a Christmas card. I wanted to give them a Christmas card just because they even spoke to me via the intercom, there, you know, where you press the doorbell. And I approached the door, and the wife said to me, oh, come on in. I thought, well, brilliant. They've read my letter. They remember me. So the drive opens and I walk, and I see this amazing house, amazing, with indoor swimming pool, but super, super modern. And as I approached it, I thought, oh, wow, this looks even nicer. So I was getting really excited, thinking they're letting me in, they want to speak to me. And then this man, bless him, comes to the door. The owner looks quite grumpy. At the end of the day, I am knocking on people's doors. I don't know what may have happened before I turned up, you know, what the situation is.
Maybe they had some bad experiences.
Yeah, whatever. And as soon as I got there and I was like, oh, your house looks amazing. It looks even better here. He was like, what you're doing is so unprofessional. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm professional. He's like, yes, we've already got an agent. I said, yes, but they haven't sold you. And I'm just trying to find out your journey. I'm trying to help you, you know? And he was like, it's very unprofessional. You shouldn't be coming to my house. I was like, I'm ever so sorry. I was holding my Christmas card with my Christmassy outfit. And I was like, I only came to give you a Christmas card. And he sort of looked a bit disappointed, but he was like, oh, so be it, you know. And I was like, well, I'm really sorry, I said, to offend you, but I just wanted to come, you know, give you a Christmas card. You gave me your, you know, your time the other day on the intercom, blah, blah. And then he said, well, I said, well, bye then, because he said he opened his gates. And then he sort of said to me to leave. And I said, well, have a lovely Christmas. He said, you too, you too. So I just left, but I thought, oh my gosh, but I was so in shock because obviously I was in someone's vicinity. The gates were all closed. It was in the middle of nowhere. No one knew where I was because on that particular day, I didn't even send my location to anyone. And anything could have happened at the end of the day. I don't, you know, everyone is nice in general. But anyway, so that shocked me a little bit. I was in my car and I thought, oh, I literally had a tear because I was in shock, you know, and I was in a Christmas spirit. And then I thought to myself, right, I don't know if I want to go and knock any more doors anymore. It literally made me feel really like shocked. And I thought to myself, no, I don't care. Even if I've got a tear in my eye, I'm going to go and knock one more door right now, even though it's towards the end of the day, because I didn't want to remember that the last thing on this day was that experience. So I went and knocked on someone else's door. They were lovely and that was it. But yeah, it was one of my most, it was quite a disappointing, unexpected experience, but I totally get everyone's entitled to act how they want to act. And, you know, it was just, for me, it was a shock when that happened. But I just thought, no, I'm just going to keep going, just try it. And had I not done that, I would have more like dwelled on it. I thought, oh, what if someone else does the same thing, you know, and so on. So, yeah, and I just kept going. So, yeah, long story there.
How important it is that you stop this lingering mode and have this, again, positive attitude and tell yourself, oh, this can be it for the day. This can be it for the Christmas Eve, everything what I'm to approach and experience in even the next year. How important is this positive attitude?
Oh, it's so important, because
is this something we learn throughout our experiences, or it's something that
I think you have to have that in you. You have to have that perseverance and that persistent. I'm someone in general that if someone says no to me, I don't listen. I continue to go. Even my husband, he said it's a good trait, but he said it's a nightmare, because he said at the same time, if he says no and I'm not happy, I'm like, no, I keep on and on and on.
Accept no as an answer.
Yeah, I don't, unless I know there's no more and that's it. So I do, even with people that I've knocked their doors, I've not heard back from them, I continue. Then eventually they're like, come on then, let's give this person a chance. So yeah, I think it's something that you have within you. And I didn't realize that I had that to that level.
Even up until when?
When I first started, I didn't even realize it. Even when I first started that I could just keep going. I don't know. I thought I could do it. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's interesting, isn't it? So I think you also learn to think, you know, it's just normal. You're going to get no's. You're going to get, you know, people that don't want to talk to you, whatever. But it's just about just keep going, because if you're finding it hard, e.g. myself, who I love doing it, how is someone else going to find it who hates doing it? So I have to just keep going. So yeah. Sorry, I know it's a bit random. So
we touch a little bit on this modern way of doing real estate business. Could you just give me a little tip?
Yes, so basically the traditional method of selling properties, yes, is good. However, since COVID came and, you know, we had the really high prices, then the drop of prices, we have to keep finding different ways to sell, because there's less buyers out on the market. And it's always good to just be innovative. So the way that we do things, for an example, is very much an adapted version of how they do it in America or in Australia, where you don't just rely on putting the property on the property portals like Rightmove or Zoopla and hoping that people will just ring you and that's it, and just putting photographs. We actually have professional photographers who will take the shots. I give a lot of direction if I want something more twilight as well. We have cinematic presenter-led videos where us as the estate agent are in the house and we're actually able to talk about the property and help promote the lifestyle of the property, where we bring the property to life. So it's not just about having photos or just having any video, but it's about talking about the house and help the buyers visualize themselves living there.
Like walking through with you.
Yes, like a tour. So those type of videos are normally about, say, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes long, sometimes longer or shorter. And they accompany the advert that goes on Rightmove, for an example, which is where everyone finds their properties for sale. And that just helps the buyer visualize their lifestyle. And as a result of that, I also try and dress the properties a little bit, sprinkle bits, have like the odd bottle of champagne. It just helps the properties come to life, so it looks like it's a house in action. So we use that, and also we do a lot of social media. So it's so important to use social media in today's date in order to sell anything, not just properties, because everyone's on their phones. So things have changed so much, and you need to, if everyone's on their phone and a property pops up, they're going to see it. Exactly. And what's really important is that when people go onto Rightmove, which is a platform where everyone puts, the estate agents put the properties on, you can't always see every single house, because Rightmove has filtering criteria, like a drop-down arrows, where you can put the price, how many bedrooms, how many miles. And if, for an example, someone's looking for a property within 3-mile radius and everything ticks the boxes. So if you've got a property to sell, Janko, and I'm the buyer, and I think, for an example, everything I want is what your house has. However, when I put in the filtering criteria, for an example, within 3 miles, but your property is just a quarter of a mile out, it won't come up.
Exactly.
So when I do my Instagram adverts, for an example, I put money behind the ads and I can target the location, the demographic, the mile radius. And then when people don't even know about it, it just appears. So I get so many more inquiries now that come to me just from my Instagram and also TikTok than from Rightmove, because it's just everyone's on their phone. 85% of the UK population is actually on social media. So they're going to see the properties more than what they would do on Rightmove because of the filtering criteria.
You're a little less than a year and a half in this business, and your personal Instagram account is around 10K, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, I mean, of course, there is this proactive approach and also a value added to the owner of the property. Basically, you are doing all this in your own time, on your own dime. You bring your own videographers, you do the post-production, but there is also something else. Tell me this vision actually behind the modern approach.
The way that we do things with social media as well.
Exactly. What's the vision behind?
So it's about, before we know it, all properties will be sold. Instagram will be alongside Rightmove. Oh. That's where everyone's going to be buying properties. And I believe that so much. And like you said, so I've been with the Avenue now, being the business partner for Nottinghamshire in terms of sales of properties for just over a year and a half. And I had 0 Instagram followers. I had a little private account, but I took my 20 followers through. Yeah, just friends. And now, like you said, I've just grown it just over 10,000 followers within that time. But that's because I put myself out there. I will find ways of promoting the property, which not everyone will do. Like you said, that even with the dancing and putting a crazy dress on, you know, if I was to just go around and just point and wear just a normal suit, it's just the same normal, you know. I'm not trying to say it's boring, but it's not me. So in order to get a reaction, to get people watching, to even get people to comment and say, what's she wearing? Where does she think she's going? Brilliant. The more comments people put, the more it pushes into the algorithms, the more the exposure, more people get to see the house. So I like doing things differently that way, and also talking on Instagram, putting loads of different tips for potential sellers, potential buyers, and just pushing it out there. And by putting money behind the adverts, that has helped. So I always look at my statistics and look back at how many views has this had? How many likes has this had? How many followers did I get from this one? Brilliant. I need to do the same thing now with that one, with that one, with that one. So I know what works, and that's how you build that approach, basically. So yes.
Can you tell me from the perspective of a lady in this business, which is the type of business that was associated to men in particular? Can you tell me your impression being a lady in this business?
Okay, that's an interesting question.
How difficult or challenging might be?
I think it's easier. I personally find it easier. So for example, if you're a man, so if you were to go and knock on someone's door and it's a little old lady, who do you think she's going to answer the door to? You or me?
That's exactly why I'm kind of cannot believe that this older gentleman was a bit rude.
Oh, really? Well, everyone's different. You don't know what happened.
Exactly.
But generally, I feel that when they see a female, even just for door knocking, people are just more disalarmed. I mean, what am I going to do? Not that any guy would do anything, but at least ladies will feel more comfortable letting you in. So for an example, before I went door knocking, if someone just knocked on the door to pester, I see I'm using the wrong words, for something that I don't need, I'll be like, oh no, thank you. Now I know how hard it is. I literally just, talk to people. I actually appreciate they come to door knock. But for females, I think it's an easier way. And when it comes to properties, nice houses, you put the nice touches. I actually think girls are doing pretty good personally in this industry. No offense to the guys, but you do need a female touch when it comes to the way that you style the properties. I think it's not. I like it. I haven't found any issues being a guy or being a female, but I think if anything, it's more of a strength. Sorry to the guys. Yeah.
From the part of approach and presenting, but again from the part of actually selling it and making the deal happen. from the ladies' perspective, can you also give
I think it depends who you're talking to. So not every homeowner cares about the social media or the videos. Depends who you're talking to, the type of person. If someone's a builder, they want numbers, statistics, figures. They don't care of the fluffy stuff because they've not seen the importance of that, for example. But for me, it's about making sure that the way that I speak to the homeowners, the potential clients, my experience, my passion, knowing that I am being factual, realistic, and also know what I'm talking about. Doing that is what they buy into. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. People are starting to be more open to the fact that, estate agents are, men, women, whatever. So I don't think that plays a role. And I've proven that so many times over guys. So.
On an average, when meeting colleagues, are there mostly men or women?
I would say I'm just trying to think of the Avenue. At the Avenue, we're almost now half-half. I would say there's quite a few females in the Avenue. Generally, I would say there's more men as estate agents in the industry because that's what it's always been like. But
we see a change. Huh?
Yeah, and it's a good change. I'm not saying that women are better than men. I just think that in certain ways there's more of an advantage. Depends what.
And they bring certain value, of course, as in everything.
Yes.
Can you tell me? I would at this point come back to what you already said and regarding the car accident and how important it is. The role of family. You mentioned your partner, your husband. How important was his support in all these difficult moments?
Yeah. Well, Luke, he is my rock, bless him. So Luke's very different to me. So he's very low-key. He's very chilled out. He will talk when he has to talk, and I'm just a crazy one. So we balance each other out. So Luke's always got the best advice. So when Luke talks, everything he says makes sense, and he will be very honest with me. He will challenge my suggestions, my opinions, and make sure that what I'm doing is right, and I do the same to him, very much so. But he's been my rock. Obviously, changing careers, going from no experience to something like that, I am fortunate that we are financially in a position where we can, I can do that. I appreciate not everyone's in the same position. So yeah, I'm very fortunate because of that. And Luke is literally my rock. We will argue to disagree about things, business wise, but it's always for the better, and you have to challenge each other. But I don't think I would feel as strong had I not gone through everything that I've been through with Luke and having Luke by my side. He is literally my family as well, but obviously Luke is my cheerleader, basically, like I am his, but he's a bit more because I'm always needing his suggestions and advice at times. But yeah.
Bless him. I do remember you were posting something from TikTok on Instagram, and then you kind of turning your camera towards him, and he kind of reacts all the time,
he hates,
Sometimes there is like, Natalie, do I really have to? But
yes.
But eventually he has his reaction.
Yeah. And sometimes before I even say, put it on Instagram or TikTok, and he said something funny, I'm like, oh, Luke, please do it again. He's like, no, I'm a one-liner now. That's it. I'm like, oh, please, Luke, that was so funny. Let me put it on there. But he hates to go, not hates it, but he doesn't necessarily want to have to be on camera. He's more private. So whenever he's on it, people think, oh, Luke's loving life. But it just happens the moments that I'm capturing, Luke's there. And like Luke says to me, all the videos that we do when I'm out and about, he's like, who do you all think is filming them? It's me.
Exactly.
So I'm always there.
Get
and
some
he
credit.
hates it. He hates it. He hates every time we go out. I'm like, oh, more content for social media. He's like, oh, Natalie, we're here to enjoy this place. I'm like, come on, Luke, just a little bit. So yeah, but you have to, right?
So what was his initial reaction when the stranger Janko was knocking doors and asking, inviting you for a podcast?
He thought it was brilliant. He thought it was really good. He literally was like, wow, that is such a great idea. He's like, you love talking. What Janko saying makes sense. He thinks that I'm quite engaging, or he finds me quite comical in a way, but hopefully not too laughable, if that makes sense. But he thought it's a brilliant idea. The way, going forward with social media, promoting yourself this way, and just another world that he even said, I want to do this with my business. I'm like, do you now, Luke?
Of course.
That's not, he's not even someone that would just stay and chat. But he was like, oh yeah, I could do this, I could do this, I could do that. So he loves the idea of a podcast.
Can you tell me for the very end, what do you feel the future holds in terms of business, your career? You also mentioned academia as well. So what do you think some short to mid-term future may hold for you?
For my state agency business?
State agency business, everything that you do.
I think it would just grow. It would just grow more. My following will grow. It will just increase. I feel it will only get bigger. I'm already being approached by homeowners who live in London, who have penthouses, or Cheshire, who want me to help market their properties. Obviously, I can't do that. So who knows how we might further expand in terms of within the avenue, because I love being as part of the avenue as well. It would likely just get bigger. I'm always getting people come up to me who are like, I'd love to work with you, Natalie. So many people that message me on Instagram, and I always try to make sure I give information back. I love leaving voice notes, so they find that helpful as well. But yeah, I just think estate agency, the business will just grow. Obviously, it's quite a tough time at the minute, so you just have to ride it through. And
usually people say it's a tough time, but how do we recognize in specific industry that there's
less buyers out there. So especially when I speak to colleagues who've been doing it for years and years. For example, the owners of the Avenue, they've been doing it since they were 16 years old, a state agency. And you know that you could see a massive contrast where there was loads of buyers, loads of more properties out there. Now there are less buyers going out to buy properties, and less homes. Even though it seems that there's loads of homes on the market, there's still less properties than what they were before. But the main thing is because of the interest rates as well. So the property prices have dropped, interest rates are high. Hopefully they will reduce. They're not going to go down to what they were in previous years, like 1% and so on. They're still going to remain high, but we're hearing that they will drop a little bit. So that means that hopefully people can borrow more, which it's going to be more encouraging for them to put their properties on the market and also buy at the same time. So that has had a massive influence as to homeowners not buying more, because their bills are so much more because of that reason. But hopefully we're seeing, like everything, there's trends in the market. We're going to get out of this situation. It just depends, in how long. So
we are filming this in the very downtown city center of Nottingham, close to Victoria Centre. And for like 7 months, I've been just in this diameter of 1 kilometer between the library, university, and my job and the accommodation itself. And then when the nice weather came, I jump on my bicycle and start riding around. And I've seen so many settlements, but I think I've seen some empty houses, Natalie. You really see that the house is empty when the front yard and the backyard are, not clean for quite some time. Do you feel the same as someone who is from here? Where are these people? Why these houses like this?
Interesting. Do you know what? I don't necessarily see that.
Do you have the same impression?
No. Do you know what? I think it happens for sure. But for me, I only go to certain properties. So I always know which road I'm approaching, which house I'm approaching. So in advance, I can tell if no one's living in it from the photographs, or I can tell if people are living in it. So for me, I don't get that. But generally, of course, there'll be properties that are empty. Like you said, people maybe have passed away and they haven't sold it, or they're struggling to sell it. There could be to do with rentals as well, where it's just a vacant property and they haven't rented out. There could be that adjustment period. But
various reasons.
Yeah, various reasons.
It was
anywhere in the country could be the same.
Yeah. Natalie, thank you so much for stopping by and talking with us about real estate agency business in East Midlands, Nottingham area. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me and for your time.
Most welcome.
Thank you.